All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our end of the year meeting. I guess I've got my bell here if you can see it, so I'm just going to ring that first. I should have done that. Still works. We have a group of us here today. We're at the Safety Council, and so we're practicing our social distancing, and other than myself right now, we have some masks on. So I hope everyone's having a good day. We've got an exciting program today as we end the Chad King presidency for the 1920 year and move forward. So with that, just a couple things. If you're visiting today, please go into the chat, bottom middle of your screen, and list your name there so we can recognize you and thank you. If you're a visiting Rotarian, the same as well. So we'll make sure that we recognize you. And with that, we're going to go ahead and kick off the meeting. We've got a full schedule today. We've got a song and pledge. Okay, we're back, and we'll just jump right in. If you're visiting today, we'll announce our visitors here in just a few minutes. For announcements today, we don't have a whole lot for the announcements, but I wanted to remind everyone that if you do miss one of our Zoom meetings as we proceed into the new year, the new Rotary year, please go to info@rotarygainesville.org. Again, that's info@rotarygainesville.org, and you're able to get your attendance credited on there as well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn the meeting over to President Chad. President Chad.
Hey, Ian, would you do our invocation, please?
Let us pray. O righteous one, we give thanks for yet another day to celebrate with our Rotary Club members. We have made it through a year that presented changes to norms in how we live, work, and interact with each other. Our clubs, committees, and events were able to pivot to a new way of life, yet continue to support our community and the world through our efforts and our giving. Our board has done an excellent job navigating this fiscal year of Rotary. And as the Rotary year draws to a close, We give thanks for the work we have accomplished. We ask for guidance for our new president, and that the board and the members will support the vision and the path forward, which may have our events like the Seafood Spectacular and the Wild Game Feast looking differently. We are all committed to service above self. As we celebrate our country's birthday, let us not forget those suffering from illness, lack, not having enough to feed their family, and those without a job. In all things, teach us to love one another, be kind to one another, understand each other's perceptions, and understand our unwillingness to change. Teach us thy way. Amen.
Amen, Matt.
Amen. Thank you, Ian. All right, so we're going to have a really fun meeting today. Before we get started, our district governor, Mike Dara, is going to be here around 12:15 or 12:20 to present our club with an award. There are a few folks I would like to thank for this year, and then we'll get into some remembering some of the stuff that we did this year. It was a lot of fun. The first person I'd like to thank, these are in alphabetical order, is Richard Allen. He was our program chair this year. So thank you so much, Richard. You were amazing. The programs were incredible. Richard also did the auction, UF Rotaract, Sustainable Cambodia, and also served on the board of directors. Barbara Anderson, new member orientation, co-chair. Holly Bender, new member recruiting and chats. Matthew Braddy, our incoming president, was on the board of directors, did Paul Harris Fellows and Benefactors. John Brunner, past district governor, board of directors. Don Bugas with technical. Tom Capello, veteran services. Craig Carter, Rotary Blood Bank. Yvette Carter, Interact, Buholtz, and the board of directors. Marie Collins did the greeters, button box, and the weekly lottery. Mike Conroy, youth speakers. Tom Cousins, board of directors. Jim Craig, new member recruiting, chats. Steve Dalton, board of directors. Pete Enwall, board of directors. Marcia Eubank, Rotary Reading Safari. Joe Floyd, Zoom coordination. Thank you, Joe. You're amazing. So glad you stepped in. We sure needed you. So thank you so much. David Gracie, attendance, new member assignments. He's on the board of directors. He's also secretary. John Gregory, history and archives and science projects. Helen Gilstrom, Saving Smiles. Nancy Hart, Saving Smiles and board of directors. Wilbur Holloway did the raffle for the Wild Game Feast. Gordon Hubble with music. Helen Kornblum, middle school service above self. Jan Legler, Rotary Youth Exchange. George Mazzio, ROTC recognition. Deborah Newell, Craft Talks. Gabe Nosa, board of directors. Charlie Page, song leaders. TJ Pichet, Fun Fellowship, public image, social media. Linda Reinhardt, Grateful Rotarians. My friend Jason, Sergeant at Arms. Melanie Shore, Family of Rotary and Board of Directors. Brendan Shortley, Naturalization. Jeff Sims, Treasurer. Jeff stepped in for us when Buddy retired. So thank you so much, Jeff. Susan Spain, Interact and Trilogy School. Marine. Bulletin. John Thomas, Interact. Buholtz. Ryan Thompson, Rotaract, Young Professionals and the Board of Directors. Jenny Van Hart, Disaster Response Committee. Grants, Board of Directors, and many, many other things. Julie Waldman, Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, RILA. Naomi Williams, Board of Directors, and the Phone Tree, which was a great success. So thank you so much, Naomi. Scott Wensler, Ethics and Business Award. Greg Young, Rebuild Together. And Greg also served as Feastmaster. I'm sure I missed some people. So thank you all so much for all of your contributions. I certainly didn't miss anyone deliberately. Richard, would you start the slideshow, please?
All right. And somewhere up there at the top, buried underneath. A second. Can't quite get to it. There we go. Right. What we're going to do is just rotate through a bunch of photos from the year and kind of celebrate what's been going on. So this is our year-end celebration. And it began with the incoming officers. Chad, do you want to take it from there?
Sure. I recognize some of those people, but not all of them. What a great group we had.
I think most of them have been indicted, I think, by now. No, okay. Oh, and this is for TJ. TJ, are you unmuted?
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. This was from President Jenny's send-off. I think that happened mid-year last year. So we were fortunate to have Jenny, and then now we're fortunate to have Chad. And I think when things get back to normal, we'll have to do a similar thing for Chad.
All right. Did I skip one? There we are.
Bowling.
We're in our, yep, sorry. Bowling.
Bowling, organized by Matthew Braddy, had a number of Rotarians and Rotary members. I also think I saw the clerk of the court in one of these photos. So just a fun activity that Rotarians were able to take part in.
There he is, the clerk of the court and his brother.
Yeah, somebody's being paid off. Right.
Getting paid off. I think Julie Waldman had the very enviable status as the worst bowler. She may tell me that I'm reading that incorrectly, but I think that was what happened.
Well, that just means that I wasn't there.
Right. Nor I. Another fun and fellowship. This was at the Santa Fe College Public Safety Institute. We were fortunate, a number of us, to be able to tour there and see all of the different things that they're able to do through that facility, and see some of the work that Louis Calavoda certainly contributed to, and now lucky to have that in our community.
Yeah. This was an event for biking to end polio, which I think involved in all of our local clubs got involved in this.
Yeah,
And,
I see Ed Book and Chessie Flanders. So we had, looked like Rotarians from clubs all around this area.
Yep.
Chamber Outstanding Nonprofit Award. Jenny attended this. Jenny, are you out there?
I am. Mary Kate and I attended, and we had fun receiving it from the Chamber of Commerce.
Rotary Youth Exchange. There's Miguel. He came with Bill Stasowitz nearly every week for a period of time.
we have some other RYE shots here. I don't know if anybody was on that canoe trip, but looks like it was a lot of fun. And who shared this? Perhaps Jan, I think, shared this with us, the shot. Greg, are you unmuted? Did we get Greg Young unmuted? Does anybody know? I don't see. Okay. Chad, you want to take it from there?
Seafood Spectacular was great. I was King Neptune this year. I'm not sure that outfit. I don't think either one of those would fit me, honestly. Seafood Spectacular was great. We had a lot of fun.
Record year.
Record year, Jason says.
Above and beyond.
Speak up, everyone can hear you. That's Brian Nasworth. He was from Quality Plumbing. He was the Service Above Self Award recipient for this year.
And this was one of our big community projects, was the Bread of the Mighty Food Bank. We did a lot of our Rotarians were involved in this. This was a tour, I think, that was in fact, TJ, were you there for this?
Yeah, we organized the tour, but Linda Reinhart was really the driving force behind the club's interest this year. And I think they did a wonderful job collecting food and raising money for Bread of the Mighty. And then I believe, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, some of the money from the feast this year is going toward getting new refrigerators for Bread of the Mighty.
Right.
Hey, Joe, we have a request from Greg Young to be unmuted. William Young, yes. All right, and it looks like our district governor, Mike,
Well, this is a good breaking point. For
Yeah,
that
this is a
then.
great time for that.
Okay, so what we're going to do is to switch over on slides
Thank you.
and go to this one. Then I have the dickens of a time with this. There we go, slideshow from the beginning. All right.
Mike, are you there?
I am here.
All right. District Governor Mike Dara, everyone. Mike.
Welcome.
Good afternoon. I just showed up, so if you've given an intro, I did not hear it.
I said, District Governor Mike, welcome. That was your intro. Do you want more than that?
You're on the Rotary show now.
Okay.
Long time listener, first time caller. Good to have you.
All right. Thank you, Ted. So this is a little bit anticlimactic because now you know why I'm here. But I'll give you the background of why I'm here very briefly. I was called to Evanston, where Rotary's headquarters is, and I found that I, along with 19 others from North America, were beckoned up there to join the president of Rotary International, the president-elect, the directors of Rotary International, the directors-elect, all of the membership folks for Rotary International. And we suddenly realized we probably have a lot of work that's going to result from this meeting in January. We didn't know why we were up there, but here is what we were told. We were told Asia is gaining Rotarians. They're meeting the needs of leaders and they're figuring out how to be relevant to those leaders. Europe has managed to stay pretty much the same in a population that's pretty much been level. The United States, particularly North America as a whole, has been dropping off. And the feeling was we have not been changing rapidly enough to have club forms that are relevant to the leaders of today. We were charged, come up with those sorts of clubs, those new clubs, and figure out what you need to do to meet those needs. So my first reporting was due March 20th. I kind of forgot about it because on March 13th, President Trump said we had a national emergency. And by March 20th, when I got a call saying, where are you on this? I said, I feel as though right now, my battleship has taken 2 torpedoes in the side. We're listing at about a 45-degree slant. The crew's running around on deck, not knowing what to do. Some of them are jumping off. And I've just been asked, are we going to get to the destination on time? We've got some serious things that we got to deal with right now. The person on the phone said, that's fine. I'll give the board of directors your report. And I realized I kind of screwed up in the way I expressed that. And 4 hours later, I realized, you know what? You asked for change. Well, we didn't realize it, and we're up to our necks in alligators right now, but 100% of our clubs are changing. And to recognize that, I sat back with some of the other people from our zone, and we said, what does it take for us to be successful? And there were 3 things. One was, first, let's be successful. We've got to have a way to meet. That is what Rotary's built on, that network of people. Second is, we have to have a way of checking on our folks, our members, their families, and their jobs. If there's a problem there, we need to help with the family of Rotary. And the third thing is, how about our communities? We've got to use Rotary for what it's so good at doing, and it's reaching out in the community to those who are needing and hurting. So we said those are going to be the 3 things for what we call the first, and we hope, last COVID award. It's the 2020 District Governor COVID Award. So your club jumped up and started finding ways to meet all those requirements. And I am happy to tell you, and I am really proud that y'all jumped to it and figured out, how do we make this happen? And how do we get all these things done? And you did it. So I am here to present what you just saw, the 2020 District Governor COVID Award. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for winning it. And from the bottom, and top and all over, may we find a way to socially distance this thing and not have to do this thing next year. Okay, so thank you. Congratulations to your club. And may you keep having the learnings that we've had, but may we not have to experience quite the intensity of change that we've experienced so far this year. And Chad, thank you for your leadership.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for all that you've done for our club and all the clubs throughout the district. Very, very much appreciated. All right. Shall we
return? All right, back to our slides. And I was hoping it would leave us where we were, but let me get there real quick.
Could you go back to the Bread of the Mighty?
So we were at the Bread of the Mighty. And
we had just unmuted Greg. He had something profound to tell us. Greg, what was it?
Actually,
Make it funny. Make it funny.
TJ commented on it. Some of our funds did go to Bread of the Mighty this year from the Wild Game Feast. Yes.
all right. Well, with that, I think I hear jingle bells somewhere outside. It's summer, isn't it? But oh
no!
Oh my gosh!
There's Bill, Stay Swiss, and Jason trading paddling stories.
The paddling stories were great. The light off my head was part of the picture. If you go back to that,
Oh,
there
yeah.
you go.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that's great.
Yeah.
And the Salvation Army.
Tommy
Gosh.
Thompson was in charge of that for some time, and I believe this year he passed the baton to Greg Grisson, who is the person in the blue shirt on the right.
Yeah, Tommy's done a great job with that for many, many years.
He sure has. Holiday auction, Ben Campen in his all too famous or notorious yellow suit.
He's styling.
He's styling. We raised over $20,000 at the auction this year.
Yeah.
It was quite a success.
And this was one of the winners was George Rafferty. He won this from Ed Ellett offers this every year, I think, the fishing trip.
Yeah.
Speaking of winning on that fishing trip, if you go back one slide, if you can do that,
Yeah.
We can compliment Ed Ellett on his professional fishing skills. Ed could correct if I'm wrong, but I believe he won that boat at a fishing tournament.
Wow.
So, yes. So
That's impressive.
That nice skiff is Ed's sweet ride.
Whew. I don't know what.
Yeah.
I'm not a fish guy, so I don't know. Is that a
that a
speckled
sheep's
perch or
head?
something? I don't know. Okay.
I don't know.
So also one of the co-beneficiaries of the auction this year was the Sustainable Cambodia Project, and I just wanted to walk through a few of these slides and tell you a few of the things that have been going on with it this year. Number one, our club last year and this year has been supporting a number of students on scholarship. These are some of the students that we sponsor, and they are really fantastic kids. We also lead 2 trips over there twice a year, one in January, one in February. We were lucky on this last trip that we got back just as the pandemic was spreading, and I think we were the last people out of Cambodia. Literally went through South Korea on the way home, and we were all a little nervous, but everybody in the plane wore masks. Our club provided bicycles to, I think 40 students in total at some of the schools. And these are kids that otherwise would not be able to make it to the school. And these are just shots of a few of the Rotarians on the trip with us. One of these is from England. Another guy's from Australia. And this is one of our child sponsors who's a Rotarian from Australia. She had been there twice. She's a Florida Rotarian that was on the trip with us from, I think, the Daytona clubs. We provided biosand filters for many families this year. We did the same thing last year. We have a global grant going on right now, which is providing water filters to hundreds and hundreds of families over there, these biosand filters. You'll notice each one of those biosand filters has got RC Gainesville on it, Rotary Club of Gainesville. We've provided a bunch of latrines as well. Latrines are harder to stack up and show all in a row. So we just give shots of one at a time. And before we get on to the Australian wildfires, I just wanted to mention that we just last night were able to get 14 clubs around the world, including our club and the Salt Lake City, Utah club, and clubs in Australia and across the United States to join in a global grant, which we got submitted just under the wire this morning, so that we get the Rotary matching that otherwise would have disappeared next year starting tomorrow because of the lack of funds at the foundation. But so we're going to have another $120,000 grant going over there to provide for another 3 full villages, about 3,000 families.
Wow.
So something else that we supported was when Australia broke out in wildfires. We supported the effort over there on the Australian wildfires through a large Rotary effort worldwide. And
Ethics in Business Award. Ed Ellett was the recipient of the award this year. So when he's not busy catching fish, he's catching awards. Gator Ride, Perry McGriff's Gator Ride. I believe that Craig Carter was behind this. It was to benefit Life South Community Blood Centers.
which was a lifelong passion for Perry.
It was, yeah. There's Jason's food at the Oyster and Wings Social. You want to talk about that? Did you eat all of those?
I think my comment was I had about 3 dozen oysters, and they were fantastic from Cook Seafood out in Cedar Key. They come for our game feast and came out and did an event. So as that comes back up again, we're able to get together and gather. That's one not to miss.
I think this is going to go back to TJ. Oh, no, this is the science fair. Sorry.
Science fair, I believe John Gregory, our poet laureate, is responsible for this.
Which I'm surprised I haven't had a request. Now, all these emails every week, I've been requesting any announcements. And John Gregory, if you're out there, we've missed you, bud. You want to jump right on that with Matthew immediately for next week.
History Committee and Science Fair Committee. You can head up them both.
So this is TJ's.
This is from our tour at the J. Wayne Wright's Union. We got to kind of go in the belly of the union, see a lot of things that you normally wouldn't be able to see. And you can also see through the tour how the union has evolved over the years. I think Bill is probably best suited to describe what's going on here, if he's on.
Who?
Bill Statesowitz.
I don't think he's probably not unmuted.
All right, here's our social from the Itchnatuckney. Chad, a number of others were there. And following that, you'll see in the next picture, we were able to go to lunch in High Springs. And the name of that restaurant is escaping me right now.
The Great Outdoors, maybe?
Great Outdoors.
I can comment on that as well. If you have an opportunity to go on a paddling trip with Bill, he is a level, what is it, Chad, 1,000?
At least.
Probably
more.
Elite level of a tour guide, and he is very good. Bill has some rules. If you don't follow them, you do get paddled on the river.
Yep.
But what a great fun and fellowship day out on the water. Saw a lot of wildlife and a lot of fun.
A lot of horseplay.
A lot of it.
Horseplay.
And paddling.
And I think maybe TJ, were you going to tell us about this too, or was this Greg that was going to tell us about this?
This was more of a Jenny project.
That's Jenny. That's Jenny.
Oh, Jenny.
Oh, me. So we were fortunate enough to be able to do a district grant to support the Project Makeover, University of Florida Project Makeover organization, to build this outdoor classroom at Norton Elementary. And we were our major role was to pull stuff down, dig stuff up, clear the site for the students who came in on the following weekend and knocked everything out. They do a spectacular job every year, making over an entire elementary school with murals, new installments, fun games and things like that. So we were able to do a district grant with no cash outlay by our club, but some hot sweating and fun and laughter and a bit of rain, I think, thrown in for good measure on the weekend before they did it. So it was a fun opportunity for our club to participate in service without having to write a check.
Thanks, Jenny.
And now we're going to be heading into our prep for the Wild Game Feast.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of slides here. So
Matthew had a bit of an issue with his head that day, so I helped him out.
And just to mention what they're building there, that's on the side of the men's restroom. So if you do come out and help at a function and want to spend the day out there, we have a nice new shower facility, tiled. And we had some help with that from Steve. And
Yeah, Steve Elder. Yeah,
Steve Elder really came out and did the tiling for
Josh,
us.
his son, did a lot there too. And I tightened up some of the screws in Matthew's head, so he should be ready to go for this coming Rotary year.
Everyone duly note who is actually working. That part was not staged.
I don't even know what that thing is called. Prepping for the Wild Game Feast. Yeah, we had so much fun. We watched those tables once a week for months. That's, and the top is my son Drew. He's in 3 places at the same time, which is remarkable. Down there at the bottom is his brother Harrison. Although there he is again. There's Drew taking out Jimmy's golf car, which did not make Jimmy happy, which only made it funnier for Drew. Yeah,
And if you back up one slide,
Yeah.
further.
That was an
right
area.
there.
Oh, sorry.
That
Got
was
it?
an area that was, we added dirt in. Wes was out there. They had a number of people go out there and get the dirt and level that area in to supply a tent area covering for the fellowship area and adjacent to the fellowship pavilion. So that was one of the upgrades that was done this year. There's always projects going on at the feast site, and this was one of them this year.
And, you know, everybody that played a part in that, if you look at that area now, it's about got the nicest grass out there. Greg, with his green thumb, really took up the landscaping of that property. There's some nice bushes all down the side, all the way around. And that area that you're looking at now has a covered area that will flow from the food line to the fellowship pavilion. So a nice addition.
And there's Steve Elder.
in the shower. We don't have pictures of all the members in the shower yet, but we're starting to compile those. That's our first one.
Note that he's fully clothed.
There's Bradley and Jason pointing at things.
With shed.
There's Wes doing the work.
Oh yeah.
Is he hiding a beer bottle down there?
I think he's doing some plumbing.
Oh,
And
okay, that's the new road.
The
Yeah,
new
talk about
road.
that, Greg.
I-75 right through Hatchet Creek. That is now a two-lane multi-purpose entryway and exit way. That was one of the big upgrades this year. We're very proud of that, to allow people to get in and out with easier access.
Yeah, Doug Wilcox had a big hand in that.
Yes.
There's Jason and Bradley holding up that railing while Wes continues to hide more beers.
Now we've all seen The Wizard of Oz, I imagine, right? Well, you know, when they pull back the curtain and there's the man behind the curtain, that would be Wesley Eubank, who is the Wizard of Hatchet Creek.
And Greg, do we have a name for that room yet?
It's the Inner Sanctum.
Oh, wow. All right. That was a work day we had out there where we made some concrete. Matthew Braddy was nice enough to provide that concrete mixer, and this was pre-corona days, but you'll see some face masks coming up in a minute because of the concrete dust. There we go.
I'd like to mention that I believe there was about 65 bags of concrete. President Chad was very helpful in dumping one bag, and then we did the other 64. So it was, there he is.
There I am. I showed up to just get some credit for being there. Yeah,
Street cred.
Yeah.
there he is again, the wizard.
Who?
That's
Wow.
Greg.
That was my one bag.
I don't think so.
Now, actually, these pictures, I think, were Jason's truck. Is that correct, Jason?
That is correct.
Loaded up. Now, that's for the seafood because we
What's
can't
his
put
name?
all the sodas in one truck for the wild game feast. So
I didn't know that truck could carry soda. I thought it could only carry beer.
Well,
There, that makes more
there's
sense.
the
There you go.
that was delivered.
And there is a
It's Jason's garage at home.
that is my position for the feast. I am a quality control specialist. I make sure that each beverage line there has been sampled, and all of our Rotarians are in for a nice time.
that accounts for why there was only half of it left.
All the O'Douls was still intact. So.
I think that's cooking oil. Again, Jason's truck is coming in handy. And Kirk Smith,
Mike. Yeah.
Mike Hill, they're Kirk is in charge of the cooking, and Mike, they're co-chair it, and they make it go.
So now I think we're going to get into some shots of the feast itself.
Now, if you
coming up.
notice the date, March 5th, and if
Yeah.
it had been a week later, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, what amazing timing.
Yeah.
The weather was beautiful. The timing was beautiful. It was a perfect event. And
Yep, that was our
Not-
mascot.
maybe not a perfect event for that poor guy.
Right?
This
And
is
there's some of
all-
our sponsors, like to thank Cox Communications, Southeast Car Agency. They've been big sponsors all these years. GRU.
And our Feastmaster, Greg, right there. in
And
the-
yes,
in the
as we
middle.
go through this, Greg, our Feastmaster, was an excellent leader, and everybody that helped out there really enjoyed working with Greg this year.
Yeah, thank you, Greg.
Thank you. Had a great team.
All right. So now some shots of the
Wild
feast.
So this is one of the students from Eastside Culinary Arts program, really headed up by Pam Bedford. She brought a lot of extra students out this year, and they really, at our events, do a lot of the heavy lifting, a lot of the food line, a lot of the Fellowship Pavilion food line, and all the food points. So great job to Pam Bedford and her kids for helping out every year like they do.
Yeah.
They're great.
It's a
Hey, who's that?
good looking bunch.
It's Jason and some Enterprise guys.
Those are some
Mike and all
Enterprise
that, yeah.
crew.
Ah,
The sampling.
yeah, that's where some of that beer went.
That's a custom brew from North Carolina.
Mhm.
Few
Oh, those
cars.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
Southeast Car Agency's parking lot.
Could be.
Yeah.
Great picture.
Hey,
That's a great
sponsors.
shot.
Sponsors, Southeast Car. Nice.
Yeah. Wow. Big.
There he is.
Still
Yeah.
Stasowitz. Still talking about his paddling trip.
And the rules.
Rules.
Ed
Ed
Elliott.
Marshall.
I did, Marcia.
Want to thank Ed for some of the photos he sent in. There's the Derivatives, the band we had, Jeff Sims.
Yeah,
All right.
really good music this year.
Awesome. That was a guy from the crowd that jumped up in there to sing with them. And here I am with the Elliots and Ruthie Bruner,
Yeah.
night of.
A
Jason?
few oysters.
Any comments there?
Well, that's cooked seafood, and that's an addition to the Wild Game Feast, and really a big hit for everybody that comes out there to be able to get some oysters and some steamers, something a little different.
All
George
right.
Rafferty again.
The bar crew, Dirty Dan's, Dandy Dan's, Buddy Crevasse Pavilion, filling up.
AP.
This was
And
one of
this
our
is just-
recipients
Yeah.
this year. Is Newberry, their landscaping project.
Right. And these two.
Saving Smiles and Bread of the Mighty. Well, Saving Smiles was the largest recipient of funds that were being used or are being used for the equipment that are going into a mobile dental van.
I think Jenny's going to speak to this, right?
Just briefly, it was an opportunity. Women in Rotary was a gathering of several hundred women from around the Rotary world via Zoom. We heard from many amazing women leaders and participated in breakout group sessions where we discussed our personal experiences and hopes for moving up in Rotary. It was really to address the fact that for women, it's a struggle to become leaders in Rotary because we tend to share a lot of the lion's share of family as well as business. So we have less time, but we're a hell of a lot more efficient with our time. So it was a great opportunity to meet with women around the world for a couple of hours via Zoom.
Cool.
All right, and then the Rotaract Summit from 2020. I don't know a great deal about the Rotaract Summit from 2020.
Well, we heard from the Rotaractors that it was an amazing experience. I mean, they spoke at our club and described how kind of almost transformational the summit was to be able to get together and be part of that.
Working Food Relief, Bert Gill.
Yeah, this was a real quick thing that was put together by the Working Food Group to be able to get food to folks during the pandemic. Back to TJ.
This is from our tour of the O'Connell Center. Big thanks to Linda for allowing us to come tour, and kind of like we got to see the Rights Union in a way that normally you don't get to see it. We were able to do that at the O-Dome, including seeing the locker rooms and all of the different spaces where the student athletes are able to be.
Chainsaw Gang's been around for many years, headed by Ben Campen, helping people out after natural disasters, removing fallen trees and that sort of thing. And what a great group.
Yeah, I tried to join, but they wouldn't let me. They were going to call me Lefty. But TJ.
Tour or a escape room activity that Matt Braddy organized. This escape room is actually, I think, owned by Patrick Young, the former Gator basketball star.
Wow. Oh yeah, and then we were going to close out with just memories of some of the Paul Harris Fellows that we've had this year.
There's Kurt Klein and his family. He presented all of them with Paul Harris Fellows. John Brunner. Helen Kornblum and Susan Spain with her Paul Harris Fellow. Annie Orlando and Matthew Braddy. I was so happy that day, evidently.
You were. Bright, shining shad.
Something.
Shiny suit.
Let's see. Jan Legler and Tammy Prince.
Uh-huh.
There's Kent Walker and District Governor Mike Dara. You just saw Mike a moment ago when he presented us with our award. And there's Mary Wise and Anne Marie presented her with her Paul Harris Fellow. Dana Miller and Bob Franks. And Dana got her Paul Harris Fellow. She's wearing the necklace and medallion in the photo.
I think that's the end of our slides on the Paul Harris Fellows. After this, we went virtual and we started having these meetings that kind of looked like this.
Yeah, Joe stepped up and Wes and Richard, everyone really. Jason really stepped up and made a needed change, and it was really something to see us move so quickly and do such a great job and not miss a beat. So thank you all for that. That was incredible.
And I hope everybody's had a chance to at least visit the YouTube channel of the club, because really all of our past meetings are lined up like this. As a result, I've had several Rotary clubs, both locally and some in Australia, that have told me that they've replayed our club meetings for their club meetings.
Wow.
Yeah. When I just went out recently out to Trenton, and Trenton had just played the one with not the virologist, but the infectious disease doc, Dr. Southwick, or yeah,
incredible.
Southwick. I think we're also Service Above Self Awards. I've forgotten why I had that slide.
Yeah,
There it
no,
is.
this was it. This was,
Oh, this was one of our virtuals.
yeah.
Right.
And Helen was very involved in this, and so was Wes. And it
Really
was-
moving the way that they did that, and for it to be done virtually like that, for everybody that got to be part of that meeting, it was really an exceptional meeting. Very inspiring.
It sure was. Helen went way above and beyond in a number of ways. Too many to list here, but
Yeah.
it was incredible.
Really
Thank
did.
you, Helen.
All right, and that is the end. I don't know if we
The
have some
end.
fireworks. It's a small room here.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do now is invite Matthew. Could you switch the, if it's not on,
Yeah.
would you switch that on? Invite
Stop-
our
stop the
incoming
share.
president, Matthew, over. We're going to mask up, and I'm going to pin him as the new president and hand over the gavel.
Oh,
Welcome, sir.
yes, sir.
So the passing of the gavel,
Thank you,
here you
sir.
are,
Thank you.
and your pin.
You can get
Photograph. Oh, we probably don't need to photograph it, do we? We've got a video of it.
All right. And now you're the president.
Well, thank you. And traditionally, we're here 6:30, tomorrow 7:1. We would do pinning after the official date, but we're not going to pull this circus together again next week. I think Joe has worked very hard at putting this together, and it would be a lot for next time. Chad, we do appreciate your year of service. It has been a challenging year. And as we go into the next year, we'll continue to face these challenges. And you've been able to bring together the right people to make this happen and keep us going. And we really appreciate it. And one of the most coveted pins, I am told, because when I received it, I was wondering if I could just go ahead and skip ahead and take this as my own. But one of the most coveted pins is the pin of past president, and duly earned and appreciated. Here you go, sir.
Thank you.
Turn it the right way. There you go. Very shiny, very pretty.
All right. Well,
Like your eyes.
With you, mister.
All right, well, we will start a new year. As I said, there have been many challenges, and we're going to face many more challenges. And I'm going to just pause a second. And as we go into this next year, let's think about challenges. Let's think about challenges, and do we look at them as insurmountable, or do we look at them as opportunity? And with that said, the upcoming year, the theme from a Rotary International president is Rotary opens opportunities. So very applicable. Think about it this next week. As we come back again via Zoom next week, we'll be talking about this new theme, Rotary opens opportunities, and what we can do in the upcoming year. With that said, you all have a great rest of the week, and we'll look forward to starting in a new year. Thank you again, Chad.